Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to A Laugh and Learn, and we're talking about Mother Gaia. And I am so honored to be joined by Standing in Light with AnnieBear7f.
Oh,
So
so
thank you for
good.
being here.
Thank
Yes,
you.
AnnieBear7, well, seven feathers. I know
Yeah,
that,
that's
but
a lot. It is a lot.
no, but that's good. And I'm TarotStache. Thank you for being here. It's great to have everybody here. And yes, just in case you're wondering, the tiny hands have gone to the Pacific Northwest.
They have. They have made their way here.
So, and it's a round of applause. So for those of you
Yeah.
who don't, and here's the thing. It doesn't matter how big your hands are. Do something to celebrate Earth Day today.
Yes. Yes.
So, and this is Earth Day 2025. And Annie was explaining in a previous short, this is what number celebration is this for Earth Day?
Yeah, 55th.
I love that.
I do too. I like that number.
This
On the
is
22nd, which I just went ahead and added them up to make 77 because I like that better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That
good.
reminded me of Neptune and magic.
There you go. There you go. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance.
Really.
Really. And look, I mean, she's got the TarotStache merch. You're probably the first person to get that one.
I
So
like it. I love the yellow. It's really a happy mug.
it really is. I like that mug. So everybody, Annie's links are below. Please go over and subscribe. Show your support.
Thank you.
Verify that you are subscribed, because I was hearing from a few people. They're doing some culling or something like that. Just do that. Annie does a lot of great videos. A lot of them are short. You also post wonderful photos
Thank
of
you.
your
I
journeys.
Do. Earth is so beautiful every day. There's presence.
Yes. And so let's say hello to some of the best chatters. And then we're going to get right into talking about Mother Gaia. Kaylee is here. Good
Hey,
to see you, Kaylee. Viviani.
Oh, awesome.
Beth Espacia Rising.
Hello.
And we
It's a
have,
beautiful name.
oh, look, Callie Healer is here.
Yay.
Cheryl
Thank you, Kelly.
Joined us.
Hi, Cheryl.
And Garnet is here. Good to see you. We have Midnight Apothecary and Bakery, whose name I can never remember.
Hello.
Is it Michelle? And then we
Lovely.
have
that's wonderful.
Don't give Annie doesn't give an F. That's true. That's true. That's why I love her. Aw.
Oh, I do about Mother. But
Well,
thank you.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, okay. I'm fascinated by Annie Bear's necklace. Would you tell us about your necklace?
Well, both of these I found. This is a fire agate. And Kelly at Callie Healer had recommended that one.
Nice.
And this one I found at a consignment shop years ago. And it's just beautiful little grape leaves. And the longer I wear it, it gets warm and it just feels, let me sit up straight so you can see it better. And it just feels really, really good.
Beautiful.
I love it. But thank you for noticing. I really like it.
Yes.
I really like it.
And Midnight Apothecary and Bakery is Rhonda.
Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. You got to sing that song, then you remember her name. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
Yes.
That probably will mean nothing to you.
Oh, no, I know that. I know that. So, yes, it's beautiful. And Beth loves fire agates. Perfect for use at Beltane.
I did not know that. Thank you. Thank you, dearest. That makes perfect sense, too, of course.
So, thank you for being here, Annie Bear. Thank
My
you for
pleasure.
coming and talking about Mother Gaia. And I believe Linda Day Gonzalez has says that you're Mother Gaia's favorite child or
Oh,
something.
she's just overly generous, is what she is. She's just a sweetheart. She's.
So
I do love Mother very, very much.
yes,
Very,
yes.
very much.
Well, and I have this idea of when I was thinking of opportunities for you and I to collaborate, I was like going, I mean, it was not a whisper, it was a shout. She needs to come on and talk about Gaia. And I went, okay. And then it was like going, Earth Day is a perfect day to do it.
Of
So,
course, of course.
but
You
yeah,
know,
so,
I think of Gaia as Mother Gaia as the youngest, most beautiful planet,
mhm,
a gem of this universe, and the youngest. I
uh-huh,
imagine right now that so many star nations are surrounding us, watching what's happening here
mhm,
in multidimensional times. And
mhm.
I believe that there's also a storytelling element. Um, there's been in Native tradition, we are in the fifth world.
Okay.
There have been other worlds before, and where I used to think of those as errors and mistakes, where perhaps off-planet activity had happened and needed to be remedied. Um, I also think that that's how stories are woven, and there are no mistakes in divine timing. It's just our understanding is limited
Mhm.
while we're in this form.
Uh-huh.
And so, like the first story, let's call that Eden as a baseline.
Mhm.
And then when we think of the times, and many of us began our priestess journeys and our priest journeys in the days of Avalon
Mhm.
and in Ireland.
Uh-huh.
And then we called her Tara.
Okay.
And then in India, we think of Shambhala, and that was the third world. And the fourth world was Gaia. And we think of Atlantis and Lemuria and the lessons that were learned and the
Yep.
effects that we're still dealing with now.
Uh-huh.
And as I learned from Debbie Dement, her name is Matea. Mother's name is Matea in this
Okay.
fifth world.
Mhm.
And so only the whales really know because they're the whales and dolphins are the oldest beings on the planet.
Mhm.
And then the Aboriginal people of Australia kept their holy ways and they kept themselves apart as much as they possibly could for as long as they possibly could of
Mhm.
all the Aboriginal peoples on the planet. So they know far more than we do.
Right.
So
Right.
we can only guess at the stories and try to pluck from our memories and our dreams and the handed down oral traditions and try to weave those threads into okay, how do I carry myself now? How do I walk with respect?
Mhm.
How do I stand in my light
Yes.
during like this particular time?
Mhm. Yes. That's really powerful. I hadn't heard I hadn't heard in a long time the idea of the multiple worlds.
Mhm.
But I have heard it in my past, and it was one of those things that it's sort of like it makes sense to me. It's one of those things that
Yeah.
genetically I go, "Oh yeah, okay." So,
I
more
think
people.
that too, because I
Mhm.
love green calcite. And the reason is because in my 20s, I had a vision that the last time the earth turned, I was there. And I was
Uh-huh.
holding a large piece of green calcite and I was helping people. And I was in red earth, like Arizona, that kind
Uh-huh.
of red earth. And I could erase time. And I was helping people as they went underground.
Mm.
And there was no fear. And we owe, I've always thought in that vision that we owe the ant people a huge debt because they helped us hold our consciousness together so that when the world would come again, when we would re-enter it, we would have memory of consciousness or even know who we are or what we are.
Mm-hmm.
I have since learned that that medicine is held primarily by the whales.
Okay.
So I'm learning as I go,
Mm-hmm.
remembering,
I
that,
like the way you said that. You're learning as you go, you're remembering. And
yeah.
that's quite beautiful. More people have come in, so thank you
Oh,
everybody for
yay.
joining us. And this amazing being next to me is Annie Bear, standing in light. Annie Bear, 7 feathers. Please show some support. Go over and subscribe to her channel.
Thank you.
Um, and Beth put in Tara in Latin,
Tara, yeah.
terra, Spanish tierra, and French tier, Portuguese
Oh,
terra. So,
oh,
and
I love that. I mean, she has so many beautiful names. I went on Google, I went to Dr. Googly, and I asked about a week ago, and I was amazed at all the names that there are for Mother,
mhm.
for Earth. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
feel
and
the
it is
same way.
it's one of those things that I feel that there is always a reverence to Gaia of some sort in many of the traditions. They frame it a little differently, but I think when we are closer to and our rituals are more honoring and grounded and
Mhm.
celebrate the connection between what is above and what is below. There's this weaving in and normalization of you take care of where you live and what is providing you life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have no idea what I just said, Annie. So
No,
I'm
no,
sort of like going, just say it, okay.
that was beautifully put because I am often reminded that like worms know more of purpose than I do. Grasshoppers, I mean, every animal knows their purpose and fulfills it.
Hmm.
Every single one,
Yeah.
every tree and every plant does this. We are the only beings wandering around trying to find what our purpose is. So when we ground and stay close to Mother, we have um, we have support when we do that.
Yes.
We do.
That's well said. That's well said. And it is one of those things, isn't that interesting? Because uh, um yes, everything well, when we understand our purpose and we embrace it, boy, things flow so much better. It's less of an argument with our environment and our surroundings. Um, but
Let
when we,
control. Yeah, we
yeah,
don't feel the need to control it. Then we just are like, oh,
thank
I'm a
you.
part of a bigger story. Precious.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm not the center of the universe.
yes, yes, yes.
Linda. Hi,
Linda
Linda.
is here. Jonathan is here. So
Hey,
it's
Jonathan. Aloha.
great to see everybody.
Yay.
Um,
He sings.
yes, he
I hope
does.
one day to hear him sing. He
Jonathan.
sings light language.
Hmm.
Ta-da!
So and I'm putting this up for Beth. For it,
Far be it.
for be it, I be a Debbie Downer, Virgo Capricorn, but I get sad when I see billionaires sending up ships to explore other planets without helping the beautiful mother that gives us life. Uh, um, yes, I understand that.
I wonder what their story is because often when I'm seeing the wreaking of havoc right now and the wild upset that some are feeling right now, I think, well, what would that tell us about? And I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but I wonder what karma is being balanced by this behavior.
Right.
At the last turning of the wheel, you were whom? Were you in, not you specifically, but when I'm thinking of billionaires, I'm like, okay, so were you in Atlantis? Because I have a bone to pick with you.
Uh-huh.
because we knew that the holy place within us was where we would travel from, where we would manifest from.
Yes.
The instant in the moment that that became used to have something outside of yourself, then everything went to heck in a handbasket. And
Sure.
now we can call that, we can pretty that up and call it a whole lot of lesson. But, it
Yeah.
still screwed things up. And the timelines that were once woven like DNA and flowing through time like a river became, went all wackadoo.
Mm-hmm.
So we're feeling this as they come back together. I
Yeah.
mean, I've wondered so many times, why are there so many people on the planet? Some are here because they're excited to be here. Some of us are here because we were trusted to be here and
Mm-hmm.
that we would stand in our light no matter what. And we would humbly, without judgment, stand in our light, because that's what we're here to do, is to
Yes.
hold that energy of source.
And yes. Yes. Um, Beth said, I agree so much, Annie Bear.
No, yes. I think
And
so many of us feel this way.
yeah, Beth is wanting a bumper sticker that were you in Atlantis? Because I have a bone to pick with you. So,
Yes. Yes, because I feel like, I recently found out I was wrong about this, but for a long time I felt like I was Lemurian to my bones. Hey, Pam.
okay. Pamela's here.
Hi, Pamela.
Eva.
Good to
Uh,
see you. Thank
Jamie,
you.
Wandering Mountain Bardic Path has arrived. So,
Yay. Timmy.
yep.
Hey, she called us kids. I like it.
Yes.
We
And
can get up to shenanigans when we're kids.
yeah, we can. And Annie Bear has her own tiny fingers. It wasn't me, Jamie.
I brought them with me.
So I sent Annie a whole list of questions just to start thinking.
I
Um,
appreciate that too.
so the first one, and we're gonna start there. And yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Jamie's like, oh, no.
No,
Yes.
what?
But the first one is okay, so you give people a little bit of your background, if you could, so they can understand part of your relationship with Mother Gaia, and then who is Mother Gaia?
Okay. Well, my relationship. The earliest memory I have of spiritual was asking the bear people. I had wandered off from my aunt and uncle's house staying with. I had wandered off into the woods, and it was here in the Pacific Northwest. And my memory is I saw bears, and I asked them, "Can I please come and live with you?" And they said, "No, you need
Mhm.
to live with people this time." And I was really sad about that. I really wanted to live with them. So let me answer a different question first. I think of Mother as the youngest, most beautiful gem, a planet in the universe, in this solar system. I've recently begun to think of the solar system as chakras, and also I'm wondering if they are schools.
That's
I,
fascinating.
I'm excited about this. I am so excited about this idea. And I also see, because Mother's multidimensional. So, when there was a question about what realms does she affect? Many, because she's multidimensional. And I think she's about to, she's ascending and we with her, because she's the star of the show here.
Mhm.
And that's going to affect us in different ways, as it's affecting the planet and the animals in
Yes.
different ways. Many aren't here anymore, but they're in the next world where love is the highest vibration, where
Hmm.
that's our new norm. I think if I was to think of I've wondered if Mother called us, said, I'm going to do this thing. Would you come down and assist? And we're like, yes, we lined
Uh-huh.
up. We lined up in droves to come here.
Sure.
and got interviewed and were chosen. We're so thrilled. And we said, we're going to remember everything. And we got down here and went, oh, crap. So I think a lot of us entered, like I might have entered and said, I want to go down there and forget everything. And I want to be, I'm going to choose kind of a rough path to get there. But it's to show that love, that inner part of you can't be destroyed, can't be taken from you. And I think all these lifetimes that we've had as priests and priestesses, as fairy, our relationship with the animals and the plants, which we used to have a much, much closer relationship, and we will again. We're all pieces of this puzzle that make up the mantle that surrounds Earth. So sometimes we're in her aura and we're not in a body. Sometimes we're a priest or a priestess and we're here in her, and we emit that because we're emitting light codes from Creator and from Earth all the time. That's why we want to like clear our chakras or ask that any energy that does not belong to us leave now. Yes. That's why we say it has to be heart-based or higher, because we're saying, I'm a harbinger of this. I'm going to stand here and I'm trusted. It's a sacred task. It's a gift to be able to be here. I think some of the obstacles that we're seeing right now can be seen as obstacles because they are, but we can also say diamonds become diamonds under pressure.
Yes.
The light that we're emitting, this diamond grid, this, some people are calling it Christ consciousness. I've called it that as I've read from a book recently.
Sure.
But I think that's on that diamond level. And that only happens under pressure.
Yes.
And that's, I think, what we're doing right now. I don't know if that answered your question at all.
Well, you know, okay. Well, and what it is it's giving us an opportunity to understand your relationship with Gaia, or because part of that is, we live here, we're renting this space, we don't own anything. And so when we shift our focus and it's a partnership, there's such an energy shift with that. It feels so
like family.
Yeah, and it's satisfying to go, and part of that is the perspective. It's, yes, diamonds are made under pressure. And if you are a person who believes you came in to this lifetime agreeing to do certain things, well, tell you what, if you've agreed to do that, do it fully and do it completely, because then you're doing your part of what you've agreed to.
Yeah,
and
honoring
others are doing their part as well.
And we can step in and say, I changed my contract at any time.
Yes.
You know, as our consciousness moves up chakras, we can say, oh, okay, hold the phone. You know, I've recently asked for an extra spirit team to assist me.
Wow,
so
that's powerful.
You can ask. Everybody can just ask. But ask for an extra team to assist you during this ascension. Ask that you remember your own sovereignty, because I know there is a tendency to look at Indigenous peoples the world over and say, wow, we have really screwed them up. We took their land, we killed over 8 million of them. We should feel like crap. But let me interject something else. That's true, but I will interject this. Everyone in my mind is indigenous to where your people came from. Like I have people who came from Ireland. That is part of the magic that I walk with, that allows me to have such a close relationship with the fairy folk. And I don't see them. I don't see them. I just feel them, or I look for signs of them. I don't
Mhm.
have any magical anything that I, I don't have anything that anybody else doesn't have that
Mhm.
like that. Um, I
I,
think. Go ahead.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that gently. You don't have anything that other people don't have, something like that. You grew up in a culture that appreciated Mother Gaia differently than
Well,
I did.
well, that I didn't grow up there though. I didn't grow up there. I grew up with many foster homes, and I bounced all
Okay.
over.
Okay.
So I didn't become. I didn't. I sought out my tribe
Okay.
later, when I was in my 20s. Before that, I was bouncing around all over the. I was moving around all over the place, but I knew of them, but I didn't grow up there.
Okay.
Oh, Jamie.
And I highlighted this one because this was a little earlier, and this is high praise from Jamie. Love your
Oh,
words
thank
and
you.
your colors, Annie Bear.
Thank
Jamie
you.
Jamie sees those.
She can see those?
Yep.
Oh, oh,
Yep.
yay. Oh,
So I guess
yay.
okay. So
We gotta talk.
I I think there's a beauty. You consciously have searched out for your tribe, and then that tribe, there's that the heritage about it.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the right word, the heritage. And so when we understand from whence we come, suddenly things start to make sense and
yeah,
they
absolutely.
flow. When we stop trying to be the rocks in the river and be the water, it flows.
That's true.
So,
That's true. I met an elder, and I described to him in my 20s different odd things that had never really made sense to me, that I wasn't making sense to the world. And that was the day where I'm like, he goes, that's because you're native. Boom, 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 all these things. And I felt seen. I felt heard. I felt
oh,
like,
uh-huh.
oh, okay, that's why I'm so weird. But I felt like I belonged. I'm like, oh, thank you. And that helped me enormously. And I think when people are waking up spiritually, they need to hear that. They need to hear that
Hmm.
the things you're feeling or going through, the things you're seeing out of the corner of your eye, welcome. You're waking up. It's awesome. We have this in common. This is something we can find in the natural world. If you spend time in the natural world, this is going to go so much quicker. And if you
Hmm.
give up a bad habit, whatever it is between you and creator, if you give up a bad habit and you say, I'm not going to do this anymore because I would rather be connected to my clairs, because everybody has clairs. They're available, and you say, I would rather do that. At this time, honey, it is so supported,
Yeah.
especially when you ask for that extra team and you say, because your guides, they want to know, are you developing spiritually? That's it. They don't care about your cat or your boyfriend or whatever. They want to know, are you developing?
Hmm.
Are you maturing? Your angels want to keep your physical body safe. You can ask them, can you please make sure that I'm going to go to my house and go do some errands? Can you see that I come home safe and sound, and I'll do my part by not driving
Hmm.
crazy?
Uh-huh.
But your ancestors are the ones that probably most remember the temptations, the frustrations, the boredom, the lonesomeness. They best understand that. So I've only recently begun to ask them for more help.
That's
And
beautiful.
then I just asked for an extra team, because that's kind of to have my back, kind of safeguard me for things that I might not be aware of, to help me gain more awareness, like of star nations
Hmm.
or people who can see auras and stuff. I don't see those, but
Hmm.
I'd love to. I'd like to. I look forward to being able
Well,
to.
I think I love what you're saying, and it's resonating with people in the chat.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
I agree. It helps people
Yeah.
recognize their
Yeah.
awakening.
And they're not crazy. They're just waking up. Exactly.
Yeah. And Kaylee says Tanis always says
Yeah.
weird with a Y.
I like weird with WYYRD. Yeah.
So yep. and it does have different meanings
Yes.
and implications than weird.
It's magic.
It's a whole lot of magic.
Yep.
And so I think one of the other things that is important, uh, um, it's like you are exactly where you need to be.
Mhm.
Stop trying to argue with yourself that you should be doing other things, because that's part of the agreement that you have, that you're going to struggle with that. But the other thing is I love, and Medium Betsy Palmer first introduced me to the idea that this is a volunteer position.
Mhm.
If you need to change the agreement or the understanding, do that. And so you have just said that, Annie, where
Thank you.
you go, I needed an extra spirit team. I need that help.
Yeah.
And bringing this around to the idea of the ancestors is because I always like to think, my high priestess has said, you have so many ancestors. Wouldn't you think that one of them has been through what you're going through right now and wants nothing more than to help you?
Yes. 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 There
And
was a lady who was related to, I don't know how she's related, but I didn't really like her because she always kind of wanted to ask me questions like I was a bug and wanted to know about my lineage, and she wanted to know a lot of stuff. She was very European, and she was sincere in her questioning.
sure.
What she didn't know was that the government had destroyed our records,
Mm,
um, and burned many of them, so they weren't available to us. So a lot of the history that I would like to have found wasn't there. And so, we've since made up and we're fine now, but I think there's a different, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, I apologize. There's a different way of looking at things and at the world. I'm
mhm.
sorry, I lost my train of thought. That was a wild hair I don't need to go down. Okay. Okay, please reel me back and tell me where we started from, and
Well,
I'll begin again.
we were talking about ancestors.
Mhm.
I was sharing
Oh,
ancestors are
thank you.
available
Oh,
to
thank
help.
you. One
Yeah,
of the things that
and
this
Beth said
lady,
patterns for sure.
oh,
So
for
that
sure.
lady. So what was she
Well,
saying?
thank you so much. One of the things that this same woman shared with me um, was an article, because she was doing historical research, and she came across an article of a grandmother of mine who I'd never heard of, and her name was Edith. I didn't know that. I only
Uh-huh.
know of one grandma. So her name was Edith, and when she passed, the day she passed, like 7 eagles flew
Wow.
around where she was, and I didn't know that. So I mean, so even sometimes when you might meet someone that rubs you the wrong way, if you just be yourself and you can say your truths without being horrible, you
Correct.
know, and that maybe sometimes lets someone else know something they didn't know, and it
Mhm.
ends up being an exchange that heals you. So you just never know. You
Yes.
never know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and it's a process.
It
And
is. It
I
is.
I want to say more and more people are coming in, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for coming to
And more
join us.
people are subscribing to your channel, so this is good.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so this is Earth Day, and Mother
Mm.
Gaia is, protects us, keeps us safe, we wouldn't exist without her, you know. And I love the idea of being the youngest planet in the solar system.
She's the
And I
gem.
also okay, so if the planets are chakras, which chakra would planet Earth be? Would Mother Gaia be?
I was thinking that this morning, and as we all are moving into our higher heart, I was wondering, I was asking myself why, you know, Mother must be, she's going through an ascension. She's going through a metamorphosis, and we with her
Uh-huh.
that I can't quite comprehend. But it must be that marriage of spirit and matter, where we spiral it down and we spiral that down and we
Mhm.
hold that in our high hearts. That must be what Mother is to the solar system as
Ah.
she ascends. I
Mhm.
I think that she's created her entire own timeline. through the story weaving that's been done and is being done in all these timelines that some people are aware of. And I know sometimes in a week I'll be aware of 3 different timelines, and like, okay, okay, it's a different timeline. Okay, okay, and just witness it. Just stay in that witnessing awareness as much as you can, and not think. When you remove yourself from the center of the picture, you can better just be in witnessing awareness and go, oh, okay, noted,
Mhm.
without having to necessarily interact with it all. But I
Yes.
think that's what Mother is the high heart chakra of
Okay.
this universe. And I think she's gonna become a goddess, not in that Grecian beautiful robe, fancy hair way, but in some way I can't quite comprehend, because I think we're living on a female planet. This is the rise of the divine feminine on a female planet in a female solar system in
Mhm.
a female universe, the Milky Way.
Yes.
So I think there's something much bigger than we can quite comprehend. And my whole basis here is I'm trying to figure out oneness, because intellectually I can understand oneness, but organically I don't get it. Organically I don't quite get it.
Right. Yes. Well, and I love how you're describing this, because I was actually having a conversation backstage with Linda and Tom, early ritual, before the live last night,
Yeah.
because I was doing some rabbit hole searching, and I
Okay.
was asking the interwebs what were the earliest forms of art.
Hmm.
And there's the cave paintings, and Linda had a really interesting idea about that, which I appreciate. But then the other things that are first are representations of the female, and of
The goddess
the
Danu, and yeah.
Venus, and I'm like going, isn't that interesting? Even back then, we knew that this is an important thing. So I am particularly, I love talking about Mother Gaia as Mother Gaia, because I don't know about, my mother. Nobody wants to piss Mother off.
Good, good.
I mean, because she'll take you out, she will cure you, she will nourish you, she will keep you safe. But there also has to be a great deal of respect in that. And
Yeah.
so I just bring that up. It's an interesting thing that the earliest forms of artwork were of the female. And I'm just like going, I love that. And you're talking about she's the divine feminine. We're in a feminine planet, and it's so incredible.
Well, we've been a matriarchy before, the patriarchy is an experiment, but I
Yeah.
think the Earth is an experiment. I think her multidimensionality includes being a storytelling planet and having her own timeline, and that is sacred. And I don't think that's been done before.
Yes.
Um, and a school and a chakra.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, because we as human beings, if we're made in an image, then we also have that, and we're just becoming aware of it. So
Mhm.
why would our mother be any different?
Right.
you
Right.
know
I know, Annie, you were doing a whole bunch of writing, and I want to put this up because because it's Earth Day,
yeah.
and what might be a good starting point for someone who wants to begin consciously working with and celebrating Gaia? What suggestions might you have?
Well, when I first began, I was then having moon times, and I attended moon lodges and women's groups, and a lot of things. I was going to a teacher who at that time, but the very first thing I would say to do, if you are having moon time every month, dig a hole in the earth and sit there and
Hmm.
give to Mother and
Uh-huh.
tell her out loud, I am your daughter. Do you remember me? I am your daughter. I love you. What can I do? What
Uh-huh.
can I do to be closer to you, to understand what
Mhm.
I am going through? And you will get a response from that, probably from birds, probably first from birds and four-leggeds.
Uh-huh.
And I would say do that. I would say spend time in nature, because there are many ways to find this path. And one of the ways is through nature. So I would say call on Pan. Mark Atha at Spirit Whisperer is the
Mhm.
person who introduced me to Pan.
Mhm.
And highly recommend him. He has great wisdom. He's funny, but also has great wisdom. I would say
Yes.
do that. I would say do
Mhm.
that, because you will get feathers. You will find pennies. You will find dimes. Some of these will be from medicine. Some will be from four-leggeds or birds. Some will be from your own ancestors.
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as they go through their review, I mean, they want to help you. Trust me, they want
Yes.
to help you. And
Mhm.
when you renegotiate and you say, I am heart based, I'm coming from my heart, I ask for your protection and your wisdom and your guidance. Treat yourself as the precious gem that your ancestors see you as. Even if you've never done it before, I dare you to do it. Because that's how I had to start. And that was not easy for me to do. So please do that,
Mhm.
and look for gifts that you can bring, and you'll find gifts. You'll find a special feather, a special rock, a special shell. Carry
Mhm.
that with you, and just when you're thinking about things and wondering, work that. Just keep holding that. It gives you something to focus on,
Mhm.
and it gives you a touchstone, so to speak.
Yes. I always love that. It's the simplest things are a good way to start.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm an overcomplicator.
I am
Uh,
too. I like
so
to make everything hard work.
yes,
It's
yes,
ridiculous. It's
yes.
ridiculous how often I do
And so,
that.
the simplest things are an honoring and a celebrating. It doesn't need to mean anything to other people. It just means it needs to mean something to you, and you have to feel that gift, and to honor that. So yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Annie finds those gifts all. Yes. And Sharon said, yes, that's a wonderful way to be grateful for Earth.
Yeah.
Um, and, especially when it's confusing, if you can spend a little bit of time outside, putting your feet on the grass, on the dirt, seeing the sun, feeling the rain, that can really get you back into your body.
Well, it can. And I would like to interject something about
Yeah.
if let's say you're older and you're not having moon time anymore. Um, Spit works. Also, cutting off a little bit of your hair
Uh-huh.
and putting that in the ground. Anytime I have dental work and they take a tooth out, I put that in the ground.
Hmm. I
Um,
love that.
that gives back to honoring who gave you this vehicle you're in.
Yes.
Because mother will know you. She knew you before you had this body, and she will know you when you're not in this body.
Yes.
So, but to remember her while you're in this body is a form of high magic, because that is how you bring that spiral down and ground it into earth, which is like the whole point of why we're
Yes.
here.
Yes.
So any little gift like that, it counts. It doesn't have to be moontime.
Yeah. I love that. So basically giving something of yourself
Yeah, like if
as
it's
an offering.
candy, like there's
Yep.
this old movie, Powell Highway. And in it, Filbert, he's a delightful soul. He loves Hershey bars. And so when he gets out of the car and he gives a little to mother, because that's something he really wants to eat. It's his favorite candy.
Yes.
But he puts some down for mother. That means something. So
Yes.
like I respect people. I am not religious at all. I am spiritual, but not religious. I respect people who are, and it took me a long time to do that, but I respect people who are sincere in their beliefs. So
Hmm.
one of the ways I have emulated from them is on All Souls Night, I'll put out a plate of food. or if I have something I'm celebrating,
Uh-huh.
like making that deck of cards that are not like a deck, like you're not like a real deck, they're more like inspiration.
Uh-huh.
So after
Uh-huh.
I did that, I bought flowers,
Mhm.
and you celebrate that.
Yes.
You celebrate, you go outside and say, oh, thank you, we did it. Because
Yes.
none of us are doing any of this alone, whether they are acknowledged or not. Your angels are with you from the moment you are conceived to the moment you walk on.
Uh-huh.
So, but they like to be acknowledged, you know.
I think that
So,
is so true. And
yeah, I
as
appreciated
humans,
it.
yeah, as humans, we all like to be seen and heard.
Exactly. Yeah.
We all like to be seen and heard.
Yeah.
Okay, more and more people have come in. This is
Oh,
really
good.
beautiful. And we have about 15 minutes left. And you did some writing. And so, oh, and by the way, somebody commented earlier that they love your paintings.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
So,
very much.
so,
Yeah.
and so you did some writing, and I'm going to give the floor to you.
Oh,
So,
thank you. I wanted to share this poem. Each moment carries a light all its own. Choosing healing, waters seeds kindness has sown. Light coated chakras spinning emit healing rays, allowing more source to flow through our days. So no matter may hinder our shine to express, nor dim the beauty the Ho'oponopono prayer manifests. Mother calls to all quarters, to each light and shadow combined. Come home to your heart from all hidden timelines. She calls to the land, to the sea and sky, knowing diamonds' pressure enriches the shine of her evolving ascension into a goddess divine. Since the last pink moon, we're offered karmic release, awakened from within, recalibrated for peace. The threads of her story came from the stars, best friends, cousins, and soul families of ours, down to the last density in each direction of the wheel. A cosmic turning is within us. Just allow yourself to feel. A goddess in the making, her story in full to be told. As we shed our caterpillar ways, our butterfly wings unfold. That's
wow. Thank
it.
you. Wow. Wow. And Alice L
Thank
says,
you.
love your poems, Annie Bear.
Oh, thank you. Thank
So,
you, Alice. Thank you. I haven't
so
written for a bit in
so
painting.
you haven't written for a bit, but you have done that. Was there, okay, this is a
You know,
creative thing. When when was it that you knew you had to just get out of the way and just start putting the words down?
I kept trying to write. I've been writing since I was like maybe 12. And I kept trying to write about my life and what I wanted to say or my thoughts. And it always turns into poetry.
Sure.
So that's because this last little bit I didn't even write until you and I were talking, Gerald.
Ah,
That last little bit came in when you were listening to that short
uh-huh.
after we had spoken a little bit. So it
Ah.
was in this wonderful space that we've created together today.
Hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. And lots of people are loving
Oh,
this.
thank you.
So
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Sharon.
it's
I
such a
have
great
such
honor.
wonderful subscribers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Thank you.
And Beth reminds us that
Yeah,
poetry is the language of the soul. It doesn't die.
you're right. You're right. Because I used to read, like when I first got into reading about Avalon, and didn't we all read The Mists of Avalon? It was fantastic. And has anyone read The
I
Hawksbury
didn't read
Feather?
it. I didn't read
You
Mr.
didn't.
Avalon.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did you read The Hawk's Gray Feather by Patricia Keneally Morrison?
Uh-uh.
Wow. She wrote 3 books that I just blew my mind. Blew my mind. That's
So,
amazing. You and
okay, so
Diana. Amazing. I don't think you needed to read the books because you had memory of being a priest or priestesses. Maybe that was it.
maybe. And Annette said in the 80s, we all read Mist of Avalon.
Yes. At least once or 4 times.
Do you read it often?
Well, no, because since I after 40, a bizarre thing happened. And before that I read for days on end. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was one known to be, I just gobbled up books in a day. But what's happened as I've gotten older is now when I begin to read, I go to sleep. It sucks. Fall asleep. I'm gonna have to switch over to those kind of audio books or something because
Yeah.
yeah, they put me to sleep.
And Beth says, I need to read it again. Been a few decades.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I did help me though. It helped me remember being a priestess.
Mm-hmm.
And then those clues go so deep that when you meet people like Diana Bowles, you're like, oh, she was my teacher before. Or meeting Gerald, and I'm like, I know I knew Gerald before.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately asked, where did I know him? Because
Yeah.
I know I knew him before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Wow.
Kelly. Yeah. Kelly at
So,
Calgary.
anything else you want to share in relation to Mother Gaia?
Um, I think she's being given a new name. I think her name is Matea.
Uh-huh.
I learned that from Debbie Dement.
Uh-huh.
And I would encourage others to follow Debbie Dement because she's teaching us about Lemurian astrology.
Okay.
And as much as I think that these astrologies do not at all compete, I think it may fill in blanks and it may seamlessly surprise us as
Mm-hmm.
we remember more of who we are. And I think anything like that that honors Mother, um, because if we're curious, it's not like dogma, it's more like fun. Because you'll know which clues fit you and what doesn't, throw it away.
Yes. Yeah.
Try to
I
have fun in a dark, dark world right now with all
Mhm.
the pressures, and try to have fun. Try to be curious. Follow what you're curious about
Mhm.
because that's where you're going to find joy.
Yes.
I saw this quote yesterday that was like, dearest, you didn't need to carry the mountain. You were just supposed to go over it or around it.
Oh, uh-huh.
And that kind of hit home. That kind
Mhm.
of like, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be fun.
Well, and I think personally, having joy and experiencing joy is a great form of resistance.
It is. It definitely is. Will I feed the fear today? No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm pretty
So,
sure Mother did not invite me.
mhm.
Invite me to be here to do that.
Yes. Yes. I'm a big fan of thinking about all of these little moments of joy. The glimmers are part of a great form of resistance, and the more people who do it, the more that is going to keep things elevated and light.
Mm-hmm.
So, but okay, so a couple of people have not also read the Mist of Avalon. So it's okay. Hattie Nuff asked, "Can you give us the names of the books again?" It was the
Oh,
Mist of Avalon.
yes. And the Hawk's Gray Feather.
Uh huh.
There's 3 in that book. The Hawk's Miss Babylon Stand on Its Own, of course. And she wrote other books that I also read. They were awesome. Each one of them may spark in you a memory of a lifetime that you walked.
Mm-hmm.
What's really cool is if you look at the history of the earth, you'll see that civilizations seemed very, very advanced and then disappeared. This has happened over and over again. I think many times, like a story can be woven into earth very, very quickly and look ancient and not be.
Sure.
That's part of the magic that earth, that Mother has
Uh
as a
huh.
storytelling magical planet. But the Hawk's Gray Feather is the first in a 3-book series by Patricia Keneally Morrison. And those in particular are fascinating to me. They speak of Margaz and Morgana as being sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of fill in a story about Taliesin.
Uh-huh.
They're really, really good reads. Really, really good reads. And it may help you remember that the times when we weren't patriarchy.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not judging that either, because a lot of times, like,
No.
people have been put in my path that kind of challenge us, and we wouldn't step up to be our best selves without someone challenging us.
Yes, if we're not being challenged, are we having the growth opportunities that we need?
I tend to get really complacent and lazy right away. I get nice and comfy and cozy and lazy.
Yep.
So
I
sometimes
yeah,
something will challenge me, and I'm like, okay, fine.
I completely understand that. And Beth said, "Ooh, a glimmer globe starting at Beltane until Letha. That could be fun. Glimmer globe, people want to do that. I fully support that." So this has been wonderful. Thank you, Annie.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. This has been really fun, really wonderful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I want to encourage everyone to spend a little bit of time considering what Annie and I've talked about, and just suddenly go, huh, I could do a small thing, or I could say, I'm open to hearing something and getting a connection and a message from Gaia or Matea.
Just go outside, say mother. She
Yeah,
knows.
yes,
She has
mother.
so many names. Just go outside and say, I love you, mother. I
Yep,
love you, mother.
yep.
Yeah.
And she and be willing to hear her respond to you in kind.
And
So
then come to my channel and tell me about
yes.
it.
Oh
I'll
yes.
come to Gerald and
Yes.
tell him about it. It'll be
Oh
fun
yes. Yes.
for
So
sure.
all right,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Yes, have a wonderful rest of your day. And I have to say thank you very much, Annie Bear, for being here. And
Get your fan out, Gerald. Get your fan. There we go.
yes.
Okay.
Boom.
Thank you.
All righty. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.